The Overhaul Show.
Hello everybody, welcome to Tot&Ham, the weekly show from Planet FPL where we discuss Tottenham and West Ham from a fan's point of view. My name's Suj.
Yay, my name's James.
I don't know if you've seen a tweet from, I think it's FPL badly Drawn Blue, that said that when they whacked on the video, it looked like I was wearing a gas mask. I don't know, like a Bane mask.
That's from yesterday's People's Poll, I believe.
Yeah. Your pain pleases me. Tell us about this chap that you. What's going on?
We've gone.
I'm just trying to we've had some.
Why does it feel more like my team's fighting relegation than yours,
Yeah,
even though my team's safe?
I'm looking back at all the we've had Pellegrini, he was bad, but he wasn't disastrous. We had Bilic, was bad but not disastrous. Even Allardyce, Avram Grant, maybe
Bad.
Glenn Roeder,
Bad.
and that's as bad. That's like where I'm putting Mourinho and Spurs right now, and the level of pain and annoyance and anger.
No, we're not putting it there.
People are not that upset then.
I think people are very upset at the moment with a number of things, not least the latest injury news that seems
Bergwijn's
to
out for the
confirm that
season.
Steven Bergwijn, I don't know if he's out for the season. I think Mourinho has approached all injuries with an overcautious nature to release expectations on the fans rather than the club tend to not put timelines on these things. For example, Mourinho suggested Kane might play 1 or 2 games this season back in mid-January, and it looks like he might be back in sort of 3 or 4.
Yep.
So I think he's, and I don't mind that, managing that expectation, and a player comes back a little bit earlier than what you anticipate. But obviously, certainly, the original word from Spurs was badly sprained ankle. I mean, I don't know how badly sprained ankle quite equates to you're out for the next 2 months.
Yeah. What happened at Burnley?
At Burnley, we got torn an absolute new one. It's worth saying, as I kind of mentioned last night, that Burnley in the first half were very, very good. But Burnley were very, very good because Spurs were so poor. There were a number of factors that led to that. One being Mourinho's tactics of this back five, which I've said previously, back fives has never worked for him. And it certainly isn't working with a back five with 2 centre-backs playing as wing-backs in Jan Vertonghen and Tanganga. I mean, you laugh.
I don't understand why you would
true,
want to do
isn't it?
It's that you wouldn't. You've got Aurier. It's not like Aurier was suspended or whatever. You've got wing packs.
The thinking is that from some Spurs fans was that he basically picked what he believed were the 11, let's say, fittest players in his perception for the game on Saturday to rest some minds and legs ahead of the tie in Leipzig this evening.
Yeah. And I can understand why you would do that.
You cannot go to Burnley with half-hearted footballers, mate.
No. They'll always give you a game.
Yeah. they always do give you a game. And they should have had, in the first half, as I said, they had enough chances to win a couple of games over alone. And they absolutely should have won. That said, Mourinho can take some credit from changing the system in the second half, and the second half was more of an even contest.
What did he do in the second half? Push Dyer as the holding midfielder?
He pushed Dyer into holding midfield, and Dyer had
then there's a
his best 45 minutes
3-1.
in that position for Spurs, probably for a good 18 months or so at least. And it helped Dyer that his partner was Giovanni Lo Celso. Now, the other problem in that first half, as well as obviously the back five, is what's already been very highlighted with, and we need to talk about it, Tanguy Ndombele. There's obviously been a lot said about Mourinho's criticism after the game. Yeah. I obviously think, like most people, that shouldn't be aired in public. But I'm actually going to stick up for him a little bit here, Mourinho. Sit back and have a glass of water while you sit in shock. Everybody's saying, you should do this sort of thing in private. Well, what's to say that he hasn't? Because I'd be amazed, actually, if he hasn't already gone down that line and went, I need more from you, yada, yada, yada. And it's not working. So he's gone, well, actually, I've given him the chance in private, which we don't No, but
No.
I would suspect at some point in the last 4 months while he's been there, a word's been said and gone, yeah, by the way, mate, you cost 60 plus million quid. Where are you?
Yeah.
Because he's been building up fitness all this time, basically.
Yep.
People forget he played 90 minutes game week 1. So he wasn't unlike Lo Celso, who missed sort of up till mid-October with injury and now looks the fittest player in the squad. And Ndombele was fit at the start, had the pre-season, was an early signing into the football club.
The comparison I look at is the way that similar price, Fernandes has just hit the ground running. Just hit the ground running with returning creatively. And they're different players, but the price is the same. At the moment, they're chalk and cheese.
But they should be offering similar characteristics to both football clubs.
Yeah, and when you look at it, 60 million, look, everybody's spent money on a player that ends up a duffer, right? But it's disappointing at that level, 60 million.
And Ndombele on Saturday in those 45 minutes. How many interceptions?
I bet you're going to say 0, but like 1 or 2.
None.
How
many tackles?
I'd say like 8.
Okay. So let me ask you one which can't be none. How many sprints did he get through in those 45 minutes?
It can't. Was tackle 0?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Sprints 4.
None.
No sprints, no tackles, no interceptions.
In 45 minutes of football, he didn't get through a single sprint. Can I ask you how that's possible?
The whole thing with Spurs, like I laugh, but I'm not. It's confusion. It's like how can it be like this where you've got wing backs and you're going to play 3 centre backs? So I don't understand the logic, or I'm trying to make sense of it in my mind and I can't. No, I don't know how.
How can you play 45 minutes of football and not sprint once?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Even a goalkeeper might sprint off his line to come and get a ball or something.
Close something down or whatever, yeah.
How is that possible?
No idea. So he did nothing.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
I'd love to see how many yards he covered or the kilometres he ran or whatever, but it's very, very low.
Listen, these were numbers which were highlighted by Jamie Carragher on Monday Night Football last night, and I'm pleased that he's highlighted it because I don't know. Someone can give me other examples where a central midfield player has gone through a 45 minutes of football in the Premier League and not completed a single sprint. I'd love to. I've never seen it before.
Yeah,
he has this really weird running style, which I've joked about in the past, where I could reference it. He runs like a duck.
Yeah,
his arse is out and his chest is out and his head is back. He just looks awkward. His hands are always by his sides, so he looks tired. His body language is awful. And even if you take out the hard-working stuff for a second, he is an amazing, technically gifted footballer. Like, no jokes. If you look back to like the pass that he gives Son for the second goal at Man City, which was basically his first contribution in the game as a substitute, there are very few people on the planet who can play that reverse pass. He is such a technically gifted footballer. But I would want him, let's say he's under par, he's under fitness, and he has a problem getting through from box to box and stuff like that. Okay, it's fine. We joked after the Chelsea game about him fitness, and I said he can't even get from one end of the centre circle to the other. Fine. Then do you know what? Go and sit in front of the back 4, get the ball off them, and play from there and join and link and play it and receive it back and spread it wide and do the simple things. And I think actually, having thought about it more, it's one of the reasons why Spurs revert to direct so much, because there's no trust to play the ball and fire that ball into a central midfielder and be prepared to put someone under pressure. So Winks is a good player. He can turn on a half turn, but if he's got physical presence on him, he might be in trouble. And Ndombele shouldn't have that problem. And it stems back again to Moussa Dembele, who the guys knew, Toby, Jan, Eric Dyer, whoever played there, they knew they could feed it into him, and it didn't matter how much pressure he was under, he wouldn't lose it. Very rarely. They could trust him. There's no trust in that midfield. So when you don't trust your teammates, what do? You take the safe option and go direct. And then you look at the second half with Lo Celso on the pitch, and he's I wouldn't say running the game would be an exaggeration, but he's driving Tottenham on. He's picking it up on the half turn, receiving it off the centre backs, playing from there. And despite being of slighter frame than say Ndombele, he won numerous challenges as epitomised by the tackle for the first goal and then runs with it, or the only goal rather. So I can understand Mourinho's. It's very difficult to look at them statistics. And if you're Mourinho and you have had the quiet word already, and we don't know if he did or he didn't, what do you do then? You just
See, it's interesting
and
after
playing
the
with a kid, Oliver Skip as well, who's a real talent, but he's miles off, say, comparison of, say, Billy Gilmore at the same age, right? But Oliver Skip's going to be more of a hard worker, a presser. He's going to be a different type of midfield footballer, and I think he'll go on to be a good player. But you've now put him in a position, Ndombele, because you won't go and track or even sit deep or anything, that Skip's had to do it, and Skip's a good presser. I want Oliver Skip physically involved in a football match. So he just got fucked, mate.
It's interesting how Ancelotti, after the Everton game, laid into his players, and people just say he's just being honest. But Mourinho does it. People point the finger at him. I think he does get a bit of a raw deal.
Individual target of individual player.
Yeah, I get that. I just think he does get a little bit of a raw deal, but I don't know about Ndombele. I mean, this game tonight in the Champions League is now so important, and I know what you've said in the past is you're not going to get anything out of it. Stranger things have happened in football.
How is it important?
It's the only trophy you're in this season.
Can't win the Champions League, man.
No, but you've got to try and go as far as you can.
I maintained it last season all the way till the semi-final, and then you think, oh, okay, Ajax, all right, maybe it's winnable. All right, but it's not realistic expectation for Tottenham, especially now, having had a better team in years gone by. It's not a realistic expectation. Of the 16 teams left in that competition, we're the worst. There's not an argument about that. Although you could argue, like, obviously Chelsea are physically already out, basically.
Yeah,
a complete miracle. Tottenham do still have a chance tonight. Any win bar 1-0 and we're through. So yes, of course there's a chance. But which team are we going to beat in the last 8 of what's left? Some of them will, and that wouldn't even matter if Kane and Son were back, mate. You'll get ripped apart, mate. So it's not realistic. I think what it would do from winning would be massive from a confidence perspective.
At least a performance.
Fans,
a performance, some good passing, a good team shape, and what have you. I think is massively important. What's your hopes for the weekend? Manchester United at home?
Expect to get beat. I can't look at any game in any other way at the moment.
They have been playing well, Manchester United. As much as we give them stick at the moment, since Fernandes has come in, he's given them that creativity that they've missed, and it's given some of the other players like Martial a spark. I expect them to beat you as well.
Well, what Bruno Fernandes has given them is what you would have liked to have hoped would have happened with us with Ndombele, and it's part why it's worth talking about as well, is they know now, it's the same thing, it's higher up the pitch, obviously, they can trust him. Give him the ball and you can trust him. And obviously, whatever you think of Pogba, good, bad or indifferent, Pogba's the same, right?
Yeah.
You can give him the ball, you can trust him with it, okay? Yeah. He'll have his lazy days, but give him the ball to feet, he's got the quality and the potential to unlock. Bruno Fernandes, different player, but you can trust him to make the right decisions. He's getting into the box at the right time. The forward players, I think particularly say for Martial, they now feel that they've got a link player, someone they can play with.
Yep.
Martial, who can be a lazy bastard, is probably now beginning to think, as shown by the first goal at the weekend,
if I make the effort, he'll put it on the plate for me and I'll score. He might find me. Martial's still relatively young as well.
Whereas previously, he was probably there thinking, well, unless it's Pogba, he ain't going to get found. Like,
no. There's talk like, imagine Bruno Fernandes and Pogba playing together. They would dominate some teams. They really would in the middle of the park. Whether or not he'll ever play again for Manchester United, I don't even know.
They reckon he's close to fitness. I wouldn't expect him to play.
He has been a number of times this season.
Yes, it's very true.
But yeah, Bruno Fernandes and Pogba in the middle of the park for Manchester United would make so many of their other assets interesting as well, the likes of Martial. I'm not optimistic for you guys this weekend.
No, I'm not.
I don't think you'll score.
I mean, what
that's
I am
a problem.
The one thing I take out the second half, one that they, considering they got so battered in that first half, and this really shouldn't be a positive, but the second half was much better. And I would like to think now that we've seen the end of this 5 at the back. It's got to go. Has to go. With what he's got personnel-wise at the moment, the only way he can play that 5 at the back is if he's playing Sessegnon and Aurier at wing-backs. And I'm not sure Sessegnon's ready. Although, looking at his press conference last night, it looks like Sessegnon will probably play at left-back tonight. One of the interesting comments Mourinho made was that he couldn't play Tanganga at left-back because this is a game that we have to win.
It's a weird...
Do you not think that's
it's
really
a
weird?
weird comment. Yeah, we'll go win today, so you're not coming on the show today. What?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll play Tanganga at right wing back at Burnley in a back 5 because, I mean...
Yeah, I'm struggling to make sense of this.
Can you see the perception on that sort of comment?
Yeah. It's not good. It's not good. Well, fingers crossed. And it's only a week and a bit away until we play you on the Friday night at your place.
There are some perceptions in terms of what you're seeing in the media from certain people around Mourinho at the moment, which is just so out of touch. I'm going to highlight a couple of things from some former Arsenal players, and the fact that they're former Arsenal players is purely coincidental. It's just quotes that they've made recently. So Martin Keown says about Sacramento, who's the assistant manager. He said Mourinho brought Sacramento with him as an assistant. Sacramento, only 31, is reputed to be a big tactician, but Mourinho is continuing to set up for matches in the same way. Right, hang on a minute. So how many different formations have I seen? And he's throwing shit at the wall and it's not working. Whether it be 5, whether it's been a 4, whether it's been 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, diamonds. I've seen a little bit of everything from Mourinho and I've seen a lot not work. A 4-4-2 in the first leg against Leipzig as well. This is from the Magic Man, Paul Merson. Love this. The game is too open, too flowing. It's not the way Mourinho, is. I don't know what is wrong. I know that he could easily get this team to not concede a goal. And if they did let in a goal, they wouldn't let in more than one. He would make sure of that. Okay,
what he's saying is that he's a good defensive manager.
But is he now?
Well, I suppose I don't think Merce is off there in terms of his comment. I think Mourinho could.
Paul Merson at the moment, and I'm not going to read any further quotes from that, believes that Tottenham are one of the most entertaining teams in the league to watch at the moment. Now, do you believe that?
Well, it's whether you're talking about entertaining football or entertaining that comedy value.
So watching the game, whether Tottenham are good or bad. The only game I can think of, the Villa game, was probably a really good watch for the neutral.
No.
Because it became very car crash. Because Villa are also a car crash team at the moment.
No. There's so many teams that are better to watch. I'd rather watch Liverpool and City on their day.
Standard.
And Man United and Wolves and Sheffield United, even though they're not pure, but you can appreciate what they're doing. I mean...
So you can name most of the league. You don't need to.
Yeah, I would rather watch any of them.
So...
It's a good luck.
There's a lot of misconception. This idea that what he's saying there, Merson, about if he didn't want to concede, he wouldn't concede. Well, what do you think he's doing? Setting in his teams to go out there. Merson believes he's setting teams up to try and win 4-3 and stuff. It's ridiculous.
No.
It's so far wrong in terms of opinion. Mourinho's priority in football matches is not to concede goals. I always believe that is the first priority for him. He just can't get that unit defensively to function in a way that he's able to keep clean sheets. It's not helped that he had a long period without Lloris, although you could argue Lloris perhaps should have done better on the goal with Chris Wood at the weekend. He's not been helped by injuries, obviously, particularly to Ben Davies, because we know he wanted to play Ben Davies in his so-called first-choice system with Aurier pushing on from the other side. But I just feel like Vertonghen and Alderweireld's legs have gone. But if the ball comes into the box from a wide area, do I still trust the two of them to deal with it? Yeah, I probably do. So just go deeper. But I think the problem with that is he can't, and this is where I do have some sympathy for him, he can't get that back four to go too deep because the midfield is non-existent and the midfield can't protect that back four. And that's why I think he's ended up trying the 5, is to mitigate the issue of the midfield being so bad. But he has to go back to a back 4.
Well, we'll see on Saturday if he does.
He might not, by the way, because I expect United to play the same with Luke Shaw at left centre-back and Brandon Williams at left wing back with the personnel they've got available. I suggested on last night's pod that I think after the international break, you'll see United probably go back to a back four. But I think it makes sense for United probably to stay with that at the weekend, go compact with sort of two in there, be it Matic and Fred, or obviously McTominay's now available. And Fernandes probably behind again, Martial and Daniel James as split forwards. Spurs can dominate United in that midfield area, in spite of what I've said weakness-wise, if we pack it and try and play football. I suspect that might be problematic. What the FPL listeners want to hear at the moment is Dele Alli playing out of position. Yeah, crack on. If you want to put him in your free hit team, great. Don't buy him under any circumstances.
You at least got a point at the weekend. We got no points.
You were unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't... I don't think there was any luck in it. It was poor finishing. I mean, we created enough chances to get a point and maybe 3 from the game, but poor finishing. You don't take your chances, you don't get points. But yeah, like we spoke about it in the main podcast. Am I more heartened about it? This is going to sound weird. I think Wolves are up there as one of the best teams in the league. I think we're going to give them a real game on Sunday. I'm going into this game, home game, really looking forward to it for a couple of reasons. I think the crowd will be behind the team. I think we've seen effort now, and also the likes of Antonio really putting a shift up front. Bowen's getting into the team now. We've defended better. So I think the crowd will be really 100% behind the team, as we were against Southampton. And I think the players will go try and give Wolves a game, go toe-to-toe. It could go wrong. On paper, they should probably beat us, but I think I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good atmosphere and a good day out. I just hope it doesn't rain.
That your priority?
Yeah, I don't want a miserable day. I want a clear day so that we get a nice open game that doesn't get ruined by the conditions. It's not about me getting wet.
I want to ask you about a tweet that I retweeted last night
from Irons,
our
FPL
friend
Irons.
FPL Irons, co-founder of the Wolfpack lads.
Yeah,
and he tweeted last night, "We are going to fucking batter Spurs in game week 31." Save this tweet.
I think it's one of those where you tweet something that you don't want, you say something that you want to happen is not going to happen and whatever. I don't know. We're not going to batter you next week. No chance. It wouldn't surprise me if we did based on the way you were playing, but I wouldn't go and put that out there.
From the Spurs team that played at Burnley, how many would get in the West Ham team?
I take Fabi over Lloris.
I'll play Hugo personally, but I'll let you have it.
I would take. See, I think Creswell struggled a bit at left back, but then you played
a left back.
But yeah, you played a centre back and left back. So I'm like, would I rather Vertonghen as my left back or just Creswell as my left back? Noble and Rice are doing okay. Yeah, maybe I'd take Lo Celso over Fornells, 100%. I don't even know who else have you got on your team.
Dele Alli.
Any good? Dele Alli over who? Because the way we're set up, I don't know.
If he played behind Antonio.
But the thing is, Aller's winning everything in the air for knockdowns for Antonio. Different style. I think we now have almost... we've found a system that works with this 4-4-2. Fornals in off the left and Bowen in off the right. Now it gives us a bit of strength and depth because you're thinking Bowen or Snodgrass. A lot of people are asking the question, is Snodgrass out of favour? Well, they're both equally capable. Snodgrass may be better set-piece delivery. But while Snoddy's not on the pitch, Creswell's got a nice left foot. Noble put some crosses in. On the left side, you've got Fornals. Where's Anderson going to play? Where's Lanzini going to play? So they're benched. Souček, who came in from the Czech Republic, I think he's a very good player. And there's no room for him in the team unless you drop Noble. So suddenly now, if we stick to the system, it means Snodgrass, Souček, Anderson, and for what I care about Lanzini, he can go in the summer, are not going to get into the team. So I wouldn't actually change the team and I'd leave all of that on the bench.
So I think the point in case is there's not a lot between the two teams at the moment.
No, there isn't. And you know with these games, it's like whoever turns up on the day and puts in more effort, it can make a big difference. And we will have to get in your faces. I think that's one of the things we did well against Arsenal. We tried to take the game to them as best we could. If you sit back, they can really punish you. We've got to play on the front foot.
I think the fact it's a Friday night is beneficial for us. People are going to go there with the ump.
Yep.
List. Should be a better atmosphere. Should help. Till Mourinho kills it after 5 minutes with a back five again. But there wouldn't be a lot between the two teams in game week 31. But I just wanted to get your opinion on that, and if you think you will fucking batter us.
Nah, and if you take that tweet literally, then you can't read anything on Twitter because of the amount of stuff.
If I didn't like Irons, I wouldn't, as in the FPL Twitter account, FPL Irons, I wouldn't mention it. I know he'll be all right with me talking about it. No. If it was just Joe Bloggs, I wouldn't rip the shit out of him.
On paper, we play like we did against Arsenal. You play like you did against Burnley. We will win. But football is not about that, is it, really? We've seen it time and time again. You might even see it today. You'll nick a 2-1 at Leipzig and go through on away goals.
Football on paper would still, in some people's opinions, still be top four. I think there's a perception. The other thing I keep hearing from people all the time, and I spoke about this months ago, Tottenham have got so many good players. What? Where are they then exactly? And interestingly, probably one of the things to just close on is there was a meeting last week between the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust and members of the board at Tottenham, including Daniel Levy.
Is that the little message that I tagged you in on a tweet about the season ticket prices for next year?
Well, the season ticket, I wouldn't worry about that because, yes, they've gone up slightly. It's like an extra £23 or something to me. It's minor.
And it won't change.
It's frozen for the year after as well, I think, irrespective.
But it won't change if you're not in any European competitions.
No, I mean, the only things you might find... like
chucking a couple of cup games or something.
The Europa League tickets might be more than they perhaps should have been, for example. It's up to him whether he wants a half-empty ground or something, if obviously we get in that competition.
Yeah. But
one of the things that came out was the idea that, obviously, because of the Champions League run last year, effectively, unexpectedly, getting to the final was almost worth like 2 last 16 spots, for example. So there is almost a year's worth of excess unplanned, if you will, which was ring-fenced in case the club didn't qualify for the Champions League.
Mate, they spent it on Ndombele.
They spent it on Ndombele and Lo Celso and Jetson Fernandez if they decide to make that permanent. But yes, it was clear coming out from that meeting that should Tottenham not qualify for the Champions League, which they won't, that essentially it will have an impact on transfer dealings. Mourinho has also been quoted as saying very recently that he does not intend to have an overhaul of the squad in the way that Pochettino was intending to. When Pochettino went, and I think eventually it was the right decision because you can't sack all the players, it was the cheaper move was to sack him rather than rebuild the whole squad.
But that doesn't solve the problem. Players are the ones that are on the pitch.
Tottenham might find out in the next year or two that the cheaper option actually would have been to keep him and rebuild the squad.
Do you think we're going to stay up this year?
Yes.
And how by how much? I'm interested is whether do you think it's going to go to the wire or do you think we'll get through now?
I think it might go quite close because you've got a difficult-ish run of fixtures. I think actually your result against us could quite impact in terms of how close that is or isn't, because perception-wise, in spite of what some of you guys may be thinking at the moment, should you win, it will be considered as perception, as bonus points, if you will.
Yeah, I still think the likes of the games against you, Chelsea, Arsenal, they're all free hits. It's even this game against Wolves. It's the Newcastle game. We've got to get something out of Burnley. We've got to get something out of. But I would like to see if we got 4 points out of the next two, Wolves and Tottenham, I'd be over the moon. Over the moon.
So you should be. I think one of the reasons I'm becoming more confident you staying up is, I mean, having watched Villa again last night, a little bit like what I said after we beat them, that I think they're fucked, mate. They're not going to stop conceding goals, which puts real pressure on them at the other end. And there's not enough. You know, Samatta's doing all right. Grealish is obviously a great player, but there's not enough real depth there to be able to change things up if it's not working. I think they'll go. Norwich are obviously adrift. We think they'll go. And then it only leaves one.
Yeah.
And I suspect at the moment of those down there, Yeah, probably just Bournemouth is where I'm at. But Brighton have got to start winning games soon. I can't.
They're
They had a
2
good
points
performance
clear
at-
of us now.
They had a
So.
good performance at the weekend in terms of that's a decent point away to Wolves, but they've got to like win a few games.
Yeah. Very, very tight at the bottom.
I think you'll be fine.
I'm interested to see how our team shape changes now moving forward a little bit. Because we've like a talented creative midfielder like Anderson or Lanzini should be playing in a number 10 position. But when you play a 4-4-2, it's not often that you have a number 10.
I don't see the formation changing while Antonio and Aller are both fit.
Yeah, I don't think it should. But then where does the creativity... I'd actually now drop Noble and play Souček.
It's 4-4-2, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
For
told you,
sure.
it's making a comeback.
Yeah, definitely a 4-4-2. And I wouldn't want to change it. I just think that if we carry on playing like this, and look, we've known that Noble's legs are going to gone. If Souček takes that place, then cool, because he can do what Noble does very well. And that sets us up well. I do still worry about that number 10 creative person to unlock. And it may end up being that Fornals off the left has to drift in a lot more, which he did.
But you'll
in the previous game.
you'll make chances through different ways. So when we talk about, say, like my frustrations with Mourinho and direct football and trying to look for the ball in behind, for example, well, the ball in behind is dead because Son's out. He's the one who really breaks in pace wide. Lucas can get at you, but not really in behind you, if that makes sense. And in terms of direct up to a front man, like none of them are good enough in the air. I mean, the best header at the club is Lucas Moura, but he's like 5'7". Whereas you can play a direct ball into Antonio or Aller. And as we've said, even the one thing, whatever you think about Aller, we know he is great in the air.
Yeah.
He really does win a lot of aerial duels.
Yeah.
So, and because you're then retaining possession from there, it doesn't feel so direct. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're not overturning possession much. From a percentage perspective, for you to play that way when you do, and I'm not suggesting that you necessarily are, it is safer for you to do it than it is for Spurs.
The one thing I do like with the way we set up now is the width. It gives, like Bowen on one side definitely hugs the touchline, and Fornals does, but he's got more license to drift in the build-up play. And I like it when we've got width. When I've seen City come to our place and smash us last season, was it 4-0 or 4-1 or whatever? The way that Sane and Sterling just hugged the touchlines just made the pitch so wide, and I do like the width that it does give us. And then they do both like to drift in and get involved with the play depending on what side it comes from. I don't know. This game against Wolves is going to be tough, but it's a good challenge. I like it when you've got a game that you is a challenge and you can take it to them. And if we play at our best, we can give them a game. Unlike when we went to their ground.
Let's finish on one thing, and we'll ask the same question on this pod next week as well.
Correct.
For free hitters, game week 31, if they want to have free West Ham players, who are they?
Money, no object.
Well, in a free hit, it shouldn't be.
I'd take Issa Diop, goal threat from the back.
Yep.
Antonio.
Yep.
And Bowen.
Okay.
Can't take Aller.
Not the goalkeeper, no?
I think you just take Foster or whoever else. You don't want to double up on West Ham defence, let's be honest. You never want really feel comfortable doubling up on West Ham defence. So
no,
I'd take Diop, Bowen
said,
and Antonio.
The only three I can conceivably think as assets, two of them are defensive for Spurs. Which is probably Loris, Aurea and Ali would be the one attacking. But I possibly Lamela, if he can stay fit over the next week or so, which is never any guarantee with him. But if Lamela starts that night, he wouldn't be a bad shout.
But you can't predict that. That's the only issue.
Well, you might know the team.
Rockstar.
Possibly.
Where are ya?
Possibly.
There we go. Thanks for tuning in to Tottenham this Tuesday before game week 30. West Ham at home to Wolves, Tottenham at home to Manchester United. So if you tune in next week, you'll get a full rundown. Both of us will be at the games, and we'll see what the results are like.
Subject to coronavirus.
Oh,
mate.
yeah, true. Indeed. You know, I'm supposed to go on a holiday 3 weeks and 2 days away.
You ain't fucking going anywhere, mate.
Well, the problem is that if I don't go, I lose my money. So I'm out of here, mate. And also, it's the week after we. No, it's not.
I was feeling it for Wolves fans, who obviously their game in Olympiacos is being played behind closed doors on Thursday in Greece. Greece have said, no, nothing happening. And I think they'd only sold about 1,000 tickets, Wolves, and I think a lot of people were conscious because, and that's completely understandable, by the way. No one was criticising the number of tickets they sold, but it's 1,000 people have obviously booked flights, etc. And a lot of people obviously going to Wolves, well, can I get my money back on the flights? Well, unfortunately, you've paid for an holiday to Greece and you've paid for a hotel in Greece. It's nothing to do with Wolves or UEFA or anything. No. But I did notice it's a company, Optus Sport, I think it is, that's kind of come on my radar the last 9 months or so for anybody who's thinking of travelling in Europe, because there was obviously bad experiences that Spurs fans had with Thomas Cook Sport, who have obviously now gone bust. I know that company, they were taking about 250 Wolves fans. They've obviously cancelled the flight and have refunded the money.
Yeah, I think if you always pay a little bit more, you get insurance with it or whatever.
Because that's a part of the package for the game, they've got back on that. But
fair play.
Might be one for those who are thinking coming up, what do I do with European travel? Because, I mean, if Spurs got through and, say, got Real Madrid, I would probably want to go, but I don't physically see at the moment how you could even possibly think about booking it.
No. We'll be back tomorrow with Fantasy Sky FF, Planet Sky FF, Sky Fantasy Football. I took a little bit of a dip yesterday on my rank.
There's two major issues with that. One, Tottenham ain't going through, and neither's Real Madrid, by the way. Sorry, carry on.
We've got Thursday Clash of the Correspondents, FPL_Badger Mark, our Norwich correspondent, talking to Ali, FPL Gaffer. And then Friday, final plan and an extended special Q&A show, because we didn't get through all of the questions, or any of the questions really, on the main podcast. So there is a ton of content coming at you for the rest of the week. Stay tuned, stay safe, ciao for now.
Cue music, man child.
Fantasy Football Show.